Hey, if it wasn't important already to make sure that your website was super optimized, it's going to become even more important coming up here shortly. Good afternoon, it's Brandon Devnich from i3D Themes with this week's Interactive number 67, where we share what we're passionate about, what we've been working on in the i3D Themes Design and Code Labs. So I'm just checking it out here. We were trying to schedule this week's Facebook Live while still using our Switcher app. Looking off to the side, says that the live stream will start soon, but I know it's going live. So maybe you're picking this up on a secondary stream. Hopefully you get a chance to watch this live. In any case, lots of stuff going on this week. So as I mentioned, it's going to become even more important to make sure your website is super optimized for page speed optimization. The reason I say that is if you were paying attention to the news yesterday, you might have heard something about net neutrality. Now in the United States, as many of our viewers are in the United States, you know that there are regulations in place, or there were regulations in place, to allow for the protection of net neutrality, where there were some checks and balances to prevent the cable companies from putting in throttling based upon the type of traffic that the consumers would be asking for. So, for example, Netflix or Microsoft or the small guy that has his own website. And so those protections are now theoretically gone. And so what's going to happen in the future? We don't know. We don't know if the cable companies are going to implement this type of throttling. And if that's the case, but the only thing that small businesses are going to be able to do to sort of mitigate this, to make sure that their websites get to their consumers as fast as possible, so that if there is any sort of traffic throttling, is to make sure that your website is as optimized as possible. It was already important because you want to be found in search, you want to be found in Google, you want to make sure that your website visitors don't bounce, and you want to make sure that your pay-per-click costs are as low as possible. And these are all things that are the result of making sure your website is optimized. So we developed this tool called Pegasus Accelerator. We launched that a couple weeks ago. And this is actually the website just here behind me. We've done a lot of retooling to the homepage this last week. And also we've started work on the affiliate program, which we're hoping to launch for January 1st. So that's some exciting stuff. We'll have some more news about that in the next week or so. But that's been keeping us busy. We've also been doing some onboarding with that, bringing on new customers and trying it out. It's pretty awesome. We've had sites get up to 97 out of 100 from, I think, one was at 54, one was at 47. So some pretty impressive scores. And that's the entire site, not just one page. That's the entire site. In the design lab this week, this is actually pretty exciting. Colin has started his investigation of about 14 different theme frameworks. So you know what a WordPress theme is? Well, there are many WordPress theme providers out there that use frameworks. It's basically the core of how things operate. Now, historically, we have developed our own framework in-house, and we've used that for probably about 100 different WordPress themes that we have developed. But in the last year or so, I have been myself so involved with developing Pegasus Accelerator, and then before that, the Numo Accelerator website plugin, that I haven't had a chance to convert any of our newer website designs over to WordPress. So Colin says, I'm going to do this myself. I just need to find a framework that I'll be able to manage. So he's started his investigation, and he said there's about 14 different ones that he's been looking at, to find out which one is going to be the best for him to be able to use. So coming up in the new year, he's going to be doing all that himself and releasing hopefully a WordPress theme for every design that he launches. And he does have another design in the queue, which is pretty exciting as well. It's a professional looking design, and again, we're hoping that one for early January as well. So that's what's really been going on here this week. We've just been plugging ahead with getting Pegasus geared up with the affiliate program, as well as bringing new clients on board, and just getting ourselves positioned for January as we develop some new products as well and getting them out for the big January rush that comes in when everybody decides, oh, it's time for a new year, it's time for a new look, and then they go through the upgrading process of upgrading their website. Anyways, thanks so much for joining me. We hope you've had a fantastic week, and you've got some fantastic plans ahead of you. We've got one more week before Christmas here, and then we will be shutting things down more or less. We just won't be answering the phones for the last week in December as we just take some time with our families. But of course we'll be back very early January and we'll be hitting it hard. Anyways, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll talk to you again next week.